Springer died. Jerry Springer, really?
Yeah.
I didn't read about it today.
Yeah, I used to come home from school every day and ask my step-parent what a prostitute was. Because they were calling each other a prostitute on national television.
That's like the most.
You could just plug it in, and if it had
pejorative.
if it had an antenna, you could just watch TV if it was plugged into the wall via radio waves instead of digital.
Oh, yeah. Remember when they got rid of that?
And then you could watch Jerry Springer and The Maury Show and Saturday morning cartoons.
I think it happened.
And they would cut it off with infomercials in the midway because that was the cutoff point for your time slot.
Did you know that they got rid of radio antennas on the same year they got rid of the gold standard?
It's all a conspiracy.
I'm just joking. I'm pretty sure those are like 40 years apart.
I'm so gullible. Just like the
Gotcha.
masses.
Got your ass.
A sheep. In a world of
Sheeple.
wolves.
Welcome to the sheep simulator. Are we doing a new intro? Yes?
Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum bum.
Is that another deer hoof?
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun dun. That's a save state. Save screen.
Oh, let's do it. Yeah, let's put it right in there.
Montanui.
Damn, we're going to have to put it right in there. That means that it's cold open, doesn't it?
First one.
You kind of snookered me.
Montanui.
You got me. I thought I got you, but you snookered me back.
I naturally snookered.
That's what you call.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds racist. Montanui. Are we getting the deep waters already? Montanui.
All right.
Snooky?
That's so bad, man. It's like English pool. It's like
okay, they're all racist.
True.
Against somebody.
Oh,
Probably
dude,
the Irish.
Actually, come to think of it, that's really suspicious.
Some shit.
It's actually a really interesting game. It's probably more fun than billiards.
More confusing than cricket?
Cricket looks, dude, I can't even begin to understand how cricket works.
Yeah, I saw some like Facebook posts, and then they're like, stupid golfs, they ran around the wrong lane, stupid idiot, that's what he get, like it hit him in the balls or something. And then like, it's like, oh, he was, they were like, I don't know, they're like from the country.
Guffs?
I don't know, I'm just joking.
Let's just make up
It's totally not
British,
that dumb.
slang.
Yeah, but
Call him
like right in the gob, I say right in the gob because it's like the mouth. Like hit him right in the gob, but it's not where it hit him in the balls. But then it was like, oh, he was in the wrong spot. So, but it's like, I don't get what that means. Like it's like the pitcher's mound or something for baseball, or like where you're supposed to be when you bat, but it's like for cricket. And you're supposed to run down a lane like you're running down a fucking bowling alley.
Yeah, it's probably
something.
It's like baseball mixed
Somebody
with
pitches to you, yeah.
with curling.
But it's like pitching a small bowling ball, and then you have like a scoop.
Dude, what if they had?
I don't even know.
We're just orbiting around the Calvin ball issue.
Yeah, what is the deal with Calvin ball?
Dude, what is the deal with Calvin ball?
Exactly, like I don't know what it is.
I can't believe you said that about snooker.
I don't know.
I can't believe you said that.
I don't know stuff.
I'm gonna keep it in.
It's not bad.
Awful. It's awful.
It's earnest, like confusion and curiosity and a learning moment and education and like I don't know every slang.
That's true.
I just said as a joke, sounds bad. Ooh, sounds iffy. Big deal.
We'll see.
These days,
who knows?
I'm not bad news.
It is, in fact, a billiards-like game. I went to this weird
pool.
I swear to God, I went one time with a friend. It was one of those white kids who was like really obsessed with like Japanese or Chinese culture or whatever.
It used to be me.
And it was like, it was like one of these pool halls that like I couldn't tell at the time, but it was like Asian or like Pacific Islander people.
Oh, that's
But
really
they played
neat.
this other game, and I swear to God, it wasn't billiards and it wasn't snooker.
Ooh, sounds interesting.
But it had like these like like pins in the middle of it, or what do you call them? Like bouncers or
like there's
rubber
spots where it would bounce off the sides.
Yeah, no, they're like little nubs
In the middle?
that come out of the and you can use them to like bounce your shit off or whatever.
And like you can
Really
place them
fun.
customizably.
Yeah,
Like,
sound off in the chat if you
dude,
know the name of that game.
Oh my gosh, it's like power like pickups or something, dude.
I could Google it if
That
it's, like,
enhances
Chinese. It's
the
like a
game so much.
Popular Chinese.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me
billiards,
of
game.
what is it? Chinese checkers? What is that actually called? Is that like what it's called? Chinese
Yeah, are you
checkers, the
thinking about
diamond
Go,
shape.
though?
The diamond shape.
Yeah. Go. That's like a simplified Go though. Go is
Yeah.
like
But like
crazier than
compared
chess.
to normal checkers, that's like an awesome form. And then what you're talking about is kind of like pool, but it's like another form that sounds awesome.
Have you ever looked into Mancala? Dude, that shit's interesting. There's so many
No,
regional variations
know.
on Mancala.
What is that exactly?
Actually, I have a copy of it in my room, but it's that game with the two things on the side and little holes in 2 rows in the middle, and you get the beads. They're like a little glass, and you like
They're like marbles,
go around. Yeah,
almost.
and you pick it up, and there's like this pattern that you go around in, and the goal is to like get them all. You've never played it?
Damn. I don't think so.
I think it comes. I don't know if it's like Africa or like South Asia or something, but I think
all
maybe
that
in like
stuff's
Thailand or
awesome, and
something.
people. It doesn't seem like people do any of that stuff as much.
It's a really simple
Anymore.
game. The one that's like
I love that
popular in America now.
I like
but
stuff that has to do with like actual like physics based like activity, like rolling balls around or like trying to aim, or like
Isn't it crazy that that's like
Do,
a
like,
novelty?
speed?
That's like a special thing now. Just like a board game or something like, or like couch co-op
but it's
video
so
games. Like,
good for like social situations.
Yeah, 'cause
like
people are so
bonding with
isolated.
families and stuff and like friends.
I was
Party
listening.
games.
I was listening to some like video game like journalist people talk about how there was kind of a resurgence in couch co-op when the Wii came out. It was like that sort of type of video game was dying out, but then suddenly when that system came out, more people were playing together in the room.
Yeah, because it's like designed around like, yeah, you need 2 of these remotes because you're playing with like, you don't want to play with computers, you want to play bowling and all this stuff. It
Yeah.
comes with Wii Sports, which was the best game on the Wii.
Now the couch
Arguably.
co-op thing is like hard to
Like I have an
hard
itch
to
to
do
play
realistically.
Wii bowling and stuff like to this day all the time because it's just so fun to just randomly play and flick your wrist and just like, I don't know, have all these little mini games that are like sports and stuff. And
Super
like,
social too.
it's an awesome design that lasts because the next system didn't do exactly the same thing. So those
You mean
games
the
are
Wii
only
U or the Switch?
the Wii or the Switch, because I didn't really see the Wii U. I think it's like a hybrid between. It kind of has like.
Does the Wii have a gyroscope, or is that it's kind of like a newer technology inside the
The
Switch?
Wii had like lasers that lined up
Oh,
with
yeah,
like a
that's- yeah,
thing,
yeah.
like a bar, a sensor bar, and you had
I've
to
got
calibrate it and
Got
stuff.
it right there, actually.
Yeah, so you put it on your TV and like try to center it, and it was pretty good. Like no matter how you did it, but you could figure it out.
Kind of
Like, compensate
frustrating to
for it.
do
You could
Super
compensate.
Mario Galaxy, like when you
You
had
have
to
to have
switch
like
to
a clear line and stuff.
and get like good lighting, I guess.
And then the Switch has like a little bit of like a gyroscope thing, so it can kind of tell when you're tilting stuff, but it doesn't have a laser and like you can't like pinpoint like point at stuff.
Oh yeah,
You can't point at the screen.
Did they ever make like an attachment to make it more accurate somehow?
I don't know, but you can't really do exactly the same stuff.
Mm.
So there's games designed around that
I never considered that.
Novelty.
There's actually the Wii technology is actually kind of superior in the sense that it has that triangulation thing going.
It brought people into gaming that didn't game, like parents and stuff, to play like
Did
the
you
Wii
play
Sports.
the Kinect, the Xbox Kinect, or the PS3
That was really
one?
cool. Yeah, I did actually play it, and there was like dancing games and stuff, and like I played I think a boxing game, and it actually made me sweat, and it felt like a workout.
I
And
think
it
I
was
played like
awesome,
a
but it
basketball
wasn't
game on there
my
once
thing, so I didn't play it that much.
or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you could like shoot hoops and like do different stuff, and it
You think they'll
basically
ever start making like D-makes, where like they put like Final Fantasy VII on the NES or whatever?
your Elden Ring on PS1 graphics trailer.
Yeah, that was, or like there was Bloodborne Kart.
Oh yeah,
That's like
then,
an original game.
Didn't they have the whole game, but it's PS1's aesthetic?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's like an actual playable
Was
game.
that
The
Bloodborne
Elden
Kart?
Ring was just a trailer that was designed as the PS1 aesthetic.
Do you
graphics.
think they'll start making D-makes for like PS2, PS3? Like imagine like a PS5 title on the PS2 or
Imagine
something.
if you demade a game into like simplified graphics. Imagine how many like players you could put on a server and do like a crazy thing with that after like you design the game a certain way to like have a really good functionality, and then you just demake the graphics. Then you have all this processing power to like
Oh,
have
like
awesome
PUBG?
co-op or like big open world like high player count situations
yeah.
and crazy shit.
Were
Like,
you the one explaining like the like what's the word
it's an
for it?
interesting concept,
Like the
I guess.
architecture of the whole battle royale thing.
Well, yeah, it started as like a Arma 3 mod that was
Yeah.
PUBG, which was like, and then like the 100-player multiplayer design is like, yeah, there's a lot of player count, but then a lot of people die fast and they don't respawn. So then it's not processing that many people in the server for that long.
yeah, there's
And
all these
depending on
like
how many people, like if everybody's grouped up and all this shit's happening, then it'll probably lag it more.
yeah, there's
So-
all these
so-
like considerations for
Yeah, for like being able to
yeah,
support
because there's
100
really good
players.
graphics in those games.
That was a big thing. Breakthrough was that it was 100 players. It wasn't like 64 players. Like Battlefield was pushing it with 64 players, so it's like 32 versus 32.
But people used to be happy with like full bright PS1
There's even
graphic,
game, yeah.
128 graphic, like. So yeah. Can
And then
you
there's
imagine that,
massive
Fortnite,
multiplayer online games.
Fortnite or PUBG with like PS1 graphics, then you wouldn't need to do any of that stuff for like.
Yeah, but right now they're
can-
pushing like next gen stuff for Fortnite. Like they're updating the Unreal, and then they're putting in like the RTX lighting for Fortnite, and like pushing it to like even more realism.
Yeah. I mean, it's like comical,
That's what
but there's like.
that's the thing with like Unreal 5 is like it's awesome, and like it's pushing like some things can mirror reality so much that people aren't sure whether it's real or not until they really look at it. But then yeah, but it's like there's a different aesthetic to retro games. And
I
if you
guess if you just
lean
go
into
in-
that aesthetic, then technically if you're actually using less polygons and all that stuff, basically, you should be able to have more processing power and do some more interesting stuff with like gameplay and like what it can handle, like enemy count on screen or
Are people gonna start
multiplayer
doing-
co-op.
Are people going to start doing stuff like doing
Valheim?
the like ray tracing crazy light effects in Unreal 5 and then like rendering that in like
Maybe you can-
N64 like
Well, maybe you can.
low fidelity?
I don't know everything about game design, and like actually, like I wouldn't know the first thing about any of these programs, like how to do it exactly. But I know a little bit about how games work. But like theoretically, possibly,
I've seen some stuff that's
like if you rendered something with all this RTX lighting, all that shit, you could like bake the lighting to where it's like fake, and it's like static in a way, but then like make it
guess-
look realistic, and then make it like to where it's like already pre-rendered, and then like it would then an N64 would be able to handle it possibly or something like that. I don't know. like, you know how Resident Evil had it had like pre-rendered backgrounds, so it looked really realistic on the staircase and stuff, but it was like painted pictures, and then like only your model was actually there and everything was painted. So
Yeah,
it looked really
FF7
real.
and 8 were kind of like that too.
Yeah, like I loved that aesthetic, and if you pre-rendered something in Unreal and it looked super realistic, and then you did the same effect, you could have some like interesting stuff where you made it the same way that they made it with PS1, but you had like enhanced like pre-rendered.
Are you talking about like
models.
making a demade version of an existing game, or like
Maybe
just a
even
new
something
game with
new,
those aesthetics?
like
Yeah.
just the whole idea in general. Like I don't know, the whole concept. Like you could go anywhere with it.
Well, it's weird
But
because
I'm not the one with the skills to do that.
part of what makes like I think about this with like
Or
Half-Life
the
1 and
knowledge.
2 and 2. Part of what makes like PS1 graphics so interesting is like the Fulbright thing.
It's also a nostalgia thing. Like it really hits you in the brain.
But you really can't introduce
certain
like
age group and
lighting physics. You know what I mean? You have to just have pre-rendered shading.
yeah,
like,
they had
on
to
the-
do more illusions to like
Yeah.
have realism.
It's kind of like an
Like
uncanny thing.
set camera angles so that like you don't have to worry about like a dynamic like world. Like the more you're moving the camera around, the more work it's doing.
It looks so goofy though when you play games like
Yeah.
GoldenEye on the N64.
Yeah, but that one you can actually,
Or
it's like an
that's pretty-
FPS. You
that's
can
pretty
just
messed up,
freely
though.
move the camera and stuff.
That's a bad example because in
it's
that
just,
game they
it's
had
just
like
basic
those faces,
geometric shape.
the
Yeah.
photos plastered on the.
Yeah, it's funny, but dude, that's like what they had at the time. That was considered like ultra realism. It's like you can actually make out their nose.
But then they started to have real lighting physics in PS2, right?
Yeah, it was a lot better. They could even have fingers sometimes, and like not just like a one crab finger that had like finger texture.
No, the main
Yeah,
innovation.
dude, stuff like that. Like that's what
Yeah.
you'd look at. Like
PS2
finger
is a finger,
like free
kid named
fingers.
finger.
All 4 fingers and the thumb were like free instead of like together like Lego hand, but then a finger textures
Mega
over
Man
it.
Legends style, like
Yeah, something.
dude, I see
Sometimes
stuff.
they did that.
Whenever I
Sometimes
see
not.
something that looks like a weird rounded cylinder, I think of like that game.
Like Metal
Just
Gear
because
Solid at the
everything-
time. Metal Gear had like the most realistic people and stuff and textures for the face and stuff.
PS1.
It was
Yeah, it's pretty
smooth
good.
looking at the time, and that stuff
Looks
was
so
only like
bad by
480.
today's standards, though.
Yeah, but if you smooth it out with the old school TVs, it looked smooth still. And then if you like upscale it or something, it looks smooth. And remaster it, especially if they just upscale the textures or whatever, make all the old textures HD. It would look really good actually.
Yeah,
I'd say so.
I'm doing FF7 right now. Have you seen the upscaled
Smooth.
the upscaled FF7 mod?
I've seen some of them where it looks super like nice and smooth. It's still like the exact same polygon count and like nothing's changed with the textures, but it's just like
Yeah, there's like
nice
AI.
and smooth. There's
some
no
sort of,
like you can't see the seams and stuff
Oh,
anymore.
yeah.
Like they cover up the seams. So I've even seen like updated lighting. I think
what is it called? Like
looks
Mako
really cool.
X or some shit
I think I've seen that.
mod.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Maybe.
almost prefer just like the original like disc on like
Yeah,
real
no,
hardware.
there's awesome. There's definitely a thing to like the original was
I
intended
noticed
to
some
be.
weird. I'm playing it
They
right
used
now
what they
though.
could at the time to
Some
make it
what?
a certain way. They used what they could at the time to make
Oh.
it a certain way, and that's like how they left it. And there's a certain aesthetic to like what they could do at the time.
I've noticed that there's some not like incorrect
Actually.
translations, but like awkward translations in like the first disc so far.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
okay, yeah.
FF7's great.
There was a lot of that in the like early or the late '90s and stuff. Still,
That's why they're still doing. I think Metal Gear is one of those games that got like a new fan translation because it's just like better. It's a little bit better translation than what the original offered.
yeah. There's a lot of like dense dialogue sections and stuff like that that probably from Japanese to English gets lost in translation, especially talking about like complex topics and everything. certain like ways to explain stuff. I don't know.
Rhymes.
Doesn't come across the same.
slang.
Yeah, they would say like complex stuff like juxtaposition.
Yeah. Dude, did you ever play the Bionicle video game from like, it was on like
Was it on PS1? I don't know.
Speak of the
I
devil.
probably saw it a little bit. I probably saw the case here and there at stores and all that stuff. I don't know if I ever played it.
I tried
I don't
it a
remember
little
owning
bit.
it.
It was one of those games that had such bad, like, old school style controls.
Do you remember, I don't know if it was only in the movie with Lara Croft, Tomb Raider.
I never saw the movie.
There was like some robot thing that its face reminded me of a Bionicle. It was like, that was a
Yo.
Bionicle in the movie. So I always associated like Tomb Raider with like Bionicles. As
Interesting.
Well, in the same world.
No, I played like the first Tomb Raider. That's a great. I kind of want to revisit it. Rivet.
That'd be awesome.
Revisit.
If
Yeah,
Tomb
we were
Raider
playing. I don't know if we're gonna keep it, but we were playing the Bionicle movie earlier.
It was awesome. Montanui.
It kind of just devolved into.
We were just watching it quietly and like figuring out what to talk about, like what color guy was, because there was no sound.
Giving a synopsis of the plot.
And like at first it was kind of like a nostalgia blast, but like kind of not for me because I didn't know that much about it actually. Just the toys.
I expected more from you. Do you want to talk about Digimon? Tell me about Digimon. I'll tell you about Calvin Ball.
Digimon's like a comfort game and also a series I watch on TV.
Games.
It's nice. Dude, like even so Digimon World, it's like a pet simulator. It's kind of like Tamagotchi. You gotta feed them, exercise, all this stuff, and like there's stats. Like it's an RPG. You raise them, they can die and get turned back into like the basic form, into a baby form. You have to level them up again.
Oh, so like the first evolution.
They have a worse life cycle or like a shorter lifespan if you like didn't take care of them right. So like, they can level up to like a really powerful form, but then like not for that long before they just die. Even though you think you're taking care of them well because all this stats are happening. It's kind of crazy.
But they kind of die no matter what.
They have a lifespan, but I'm sure that there's ways to like, make them so strong that they're barely ever gonna die. I don't know if they're like I don't know for sure, but.
So do they have like Pokeballs? What's like the Digimon equivalent of a Pokeball?
Well,
keep them in capsules, or are they like? Are they like?
I'm not sure.
Files?
Like in different games, there's just, like you kind of befriend them. Like you might give them gifts. Like in the second one, you give them offerings, like certain gifts they like better. And then if you kind of fight them, I think, and you made them happy beforehand, then they might offer the friendship and be in your team.
So they just follow you around like regular like woodland creatures?
Well, they have like personalities of their own, and they can all talk, and they kind of are spirits, apparently. At the same time, they're like files and digital, but at the same time, they're like living spirits, or not living, but like they're animate.
They're zeros and ones. They're Digimon.
Yeah, sometimes they've been represented as like viruses in like the human-made digital world, like the VR Matrix, basically.
Oh yeah.
And they're like considered viruses, and they're like it's an underground hacker thing, but actually it's like kind of Pokemon trainers in a way, or like they're that's what they're considered, but they're actually like good spirits versus like the actual bad viruses.
Is there some sort of like rebel
corrupted
alliance against like the tech? Are they doing it? What's the like?
Like each game and stuff has kind of a different world, sort of like Final Fantasy, where it's like reimagined. Some of them are some of the spin-off games are based off of like the actual anime series too, so it's kind of mixed around.
But I'm just saying, okay, so like
but
if the Digimon are like viruses and they're being used as like weapons,
it depends.
like what is the? It depends
Well,
on
you're
how
a
you look at it.
good. Usually, like if you're the protagonist and stuff, like his Digimon are like his friends, and he doesn't treat them like shit or anything.
Oh, so like only like evil people use them in this certain way, where they're like
I don't
they
know.
become.
Like I can't. It's been a while, but it's like there
Is it
might
like
be
the-
some evil tamers, but I don't.
Okay,
there might
okay.
be some evil characters or characters that
Like all of
have
the
to
evil.
overcome an inner ethical issue, or like they might commit evil acts or something. I think maybe like Ken. I think I remember him being like he kind of goes to the evil side and like sort of a rival, but then he becomes a friend later.
So
I don't
there's
know.
like, is there like Digimon that are like kind of cursed, and other ones that are like kind of
Yeah,
blessed?
I think there's ones that
It's
are
like-
actually evil. Like there's ones that are on the bad side of things.
And those are the viruses.
You could consider them more like viruses. I think there's types, like Pokemon had like water type and all this stuff, but there's like virus, vaccine, blah 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 type, and they counteract
it's kinda
each
like
other.
poison,
Yeah, so they have like types and they have
or
like
like bio or whatever.
elements as well. Like, but that's more in their attacks and sort of that kind of stuff.
So is there biomes, like different environments that you get different ones from?
There's environments, depends on the game and stuff, but Digimon World 3, you could
Dude, I
change
love me a good biome.
you could change
Fucking
the
Mega Man.
environment for like a few turns, and it would like enhance certain aspects
Change
of
the
your
whole
Digimon.
environment.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Like you're in a
you know in
computer.
Pokemon, if your Pokemon has like a passive ability where it's like, oh, it's raining now, and then like water stuff gets a boost and that sort of thing, you could
Okay.
make the element like fire, and then all your fire attacks would be boosted for a turn, or you could make the element dark or machine or light or
Dark and machine.
yeah, like there's like
It's like
machine
metal
type.
or whatever.
Yeah, there's metal type that
Yeah.
are like more machine and mechanized.
You know what
There's
that
fire
reminds
type
me of
ones.
too? Like
and there's
the
light and dark and like
the angel and devil.
Yeah, there's,
kind of.
There's literally like devil ones.
You know what?
and
I'm
angel
kind of
ones.
offended by that because I don't believe in absolutist claims about what is.
Well, there's always
true.
like elemental stuff. Like Yu-Gi-Oh has like fire, water, wind,
Isn't that funny though? That like basically
Avatar,
all these RPGs have like
element.
basically like Jesus. it's
Well,
like
you know,
it's like
like-
Jesus element and like Beelzebub element if you really think about it.
It's like being good and being bad. I guess at the end of the day.
Holy.
Yeah, it's like ethical
It's called
and,
holy in
and like
FF7.
corrupted, you know, like ethical, corrupted, chaos and purity, whatever you want to call it. There's like a good and bad, but then there's like fire, water, wind, earth, lightning.
Yeah, but then
the
also
raw
the other one
elements.
is like Pokemon. I think was
It's
the first
cool.
one to do this. Was like
And
the,
machine,
like
that's
bug
interesting.
and like metal.
Yeah, but
Come
metal
on, it's
type.
like come on, dude. Aristotle
But you know what?
didn't have this
You
in
want to
mind.
hear a factoid? The creator of Pokemon was a bug collector. So bugs really like the first thing, like collecting them all. You're collecting like bug specimens, and then you put them on little sticks, and you're like a creepy. I'm just kidding. You're a guy that collects it, and it's a beautiful, interesting
Maybe that
specimen. You
was
can
it.
look. You
that
can
was the whole thing.
you can look at it in detail and have information on it, and really like
Yeah, but
study
he
them,
had like
study
a lot
the types.
of he had a lot of guilt about. Maybe that was it. He had
Maybe.
guilt about the fact that he took their
But
lives.
they're- I don't know.
Is
Maybe
that
you
how
find dead
entomologists
ones.
even work? Actually,
I don't know if you have to kill them, but you get a set. You get like a collection, kind of. It's like a collection of bugs. Like you kind of
Yeah,
are a bug
there's
collector.
gotta be a good
in a
joke
way,
in there.
Sometimes
you know how people always get entomologists confused with
you have to study
etymologists.
it and like write down like what it looks like, sort of. I mean, that back in the day, they probably did. I don't know. I'm just going off my head, but like they probably. I would just
I'm
be
sure
thinking
there's
about
ethics
it.
surrounding
You just
it.
like find a bug specimen. Oh, I've never found this before. Like you might have to try to capture it live. It might die, and then you just kind of have to draw it and like put it in some like encyclopedia and
Well,
do
you have to
studies on
like
it.
you have to almost like
See what you can find
create
out.
them to be like I listened to an interview with this this like bug scientist that was his specialty was like dung beetles or some shit like that. It was like this science podcast.
Oh, that's super interesting.
And he no dude, he told these gnarly stories about having to collect like the things that
Oh.
attract them, which is like
Ew.
yeah,
Carcasses.
like
Nasty.
Yeah,
The
like
smelliest.
like rotting food and like animals and like
Yeah.
waste.
And I don't know what, do they just like eat raw stuff and then like poop and then roll it and then poop and then roll it and poop and roll it? Like
Kind of something like that. But
like as they eat, they're
for
just
some reason
rolling their shit behind their
this guy
food.
had an interest in keeping a steady.
They bring their poop to the table when they eat. That's kinda what they
it's
do.
like, yo, dude,
They do that. They probably bring like a ball of shit. Like they roll up with a ball of shit to like a fucking
violating
zebra.
the law.
It's like zebra carcass. Oh, what is it called? A gazelle carcass just laying around.
Yeah, dude.
This dung beetle
he was
with like
doing
a
it
basketball,
in,
like a bowling
Nevada,
ball.
in, like, the
Speaking of
desert.
bowling, speaking of cricket, is rolling up with this snowball of shit. It's this snowball effect.
Dude,
It's like, and then you're
a
eating
riffing
shit.
machine
And
all
then
of a
you
sudden.
are
What just
like,
happened?
and then you are like eating some raw meat.
Dude, it's like
next
he's
to this
shitting
ball
where
of
he's eating,
shit.
but he's not shitting, but he's rolling
And
in the
then you
shit. But
shit
he's
a
like
little bit.
dude, what if he was like a pig
And then
and
you
shit?
stick it on the pile of shit, and you eat next to the shit some more, and you shit a little bit more before you leave, and then you roll it, and then you shit some more. And
Dude,
you
it's
find the
lucky
next
that this was
carcass.
not the first like 60 minutes of the pod, because you're not allowed to swear that much in the first 60 minutes of a. We gotta put
Where's
this
this
on YouTube
posted?
too.
I don't even know where it's posted.
Well,
Post
I
it
did
up.
promise to put it on YouTube,
Post it up
but it's everywhere. Everywhere.
on a
Go to your Virgin Megastore.
Whatever,
Go contact Corewood Records. It's a joke for no one.
oh.
Bam. So
That's
yeah, we
right.
had to pull the plug. We had to pull the
Pull the plug on
we had to pull the
Montanui.
John Paul on the
Montanui.
Bionic Hall. It was fun though. Maybe we should watch an actual movie and like not record a podcast while we do it sometime.
Yeah, like watch a movie first or something, and then like
Oh, and then
off
just like
the
talk
top of
about
our
it.
head, like yeah, we don't have to talk about the movie the whole time, but it might stimulate our senses.
We did have that idea. Remember, we were going to do that for Alien.
Oh yeah, because that would be like a crazy.
It's a great movie
That's
that
nice
I haven't
sci-fi.
seen. I'm
Amazing
assuming it's great. I haven't
effects.
seen it. Look what I did. I just did a pretension. Did you hear what I
Yeah,
just
because
said?
you're an
I said
egotistical.
it's a great movie that I've never seen. It's kind of shit that a more bullying, mean podcast host would give me shit about.
I'm not bullying you, mean if you're referencing me.
No, you're very nice. But you
I'm
can
a little bit mean.
you can razz me a little bit. You can razz me here
I
and
like
there.
to mess around a little bit.
Feel free.
I like to get a little froggy fresh.
Feel free.
Never mind.
If I just gave you like a super straight face and I was like,
I wouldn't
"See what
believe you.
happens.
I wouldn't believe
See
you.
what happens,
I
motherfucker."
would call the bluff.
Yeah. It's very funny. It's very dry. It's a dry style of humor. Straight face.
Really? Is that what I'm like?
Yeah. Digimon, dude. Yeah,
Well,
I've never
I'm-
played.
Putting it all into my voice.
We got the Digimon. You
All
think
my
I should do the
personality.
credits at the end? This is very like self-centered. I'll
What
mention what the
credits?
music is at like at the end of every pod. That's a very entertaining thing to mention in the middle of.
Digimon's underrated. It gets compared to Pokemon
It
when
has
it's
a
not really
great
trying to copy
soundtrack.
it.
Those Digimon World games.
It's super original with each game. They're all pretty fun, pretty well designed, pretty
Let's
like
talk about
challenging.
what about other monster collectors? Have you ever played
They're competent RPGs and fighting games. At least the first Digimon Rumble Arena. Also, they had like some crazy levels and stuff to fight in. It was pretty fun. But they had a super OP final boss character that you could unlock, and if you played as him, Reapermon, you would just win every time because he was so cheap. So if you played as Reapermon, you just automatically win. So it became Reapermon versus Reapermon every time. And the game became unbalanced. So you might have
Are you
to have
talking
some
about
family.
like playing like online co-op?
No, like couch co-op. You'd play with your friends, right?
Oh,
Play
okay.
with people you actually
You
know.
would take your
or
memory
play
card over.
with computers. No, like your family or like your friends that you knew.
Yeah, but you could take.
come
You
over
could
to your
have.
house,
There's two
and
memory,
memory
card
cards,
slots.
yeah.
You can. Yeah.
Bring your memory card over to their house
pretty
down the
chill.
way. My friends lived in the same apartment as me, so I just would go down the hallway and we could trade memory cards back and forth and put them in each other's like PS2s and shit. PS1, whatever. Spyro the Dragon. Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, that's pretty chill.
All these Gundam
so
games and stuff.
Reapermon is like the Charizard or Arceus. Also, is it insulting for me to keep on comparing it to Pokemon? You did inform me.
Well, everybody just naturally does. I mean, like, that's just a stigma naturally to the general, like, you know, like, consensus.
They're the pocket monsters.
Yeah,
they
and
go in
it's
your
something
pockets,
else
not in your
monsters,
digital.
so it gets compared, but it's relatively the same time. I think it was both different original ideas. It's just monster based, you know, like.
But Digimon does predate.
It's
Pokemon.
these friends. Yeah, technically, but it's like, it's not like that matters either because they kind of go their own original route. It's like all digital based and like computer based and like the reality and the matrix and sort of its own interesting thing.
I had to play
In a
this.
way.
Okay, if I had to play
It's corny
one,
too in certain parts, and
It's
especially
what?
it can be probably considered corny and stuff.
oh yeah,
And you know,
mean,
like
all of
whatever, but it was
those
for kids. Like
Pokemon's
at the very beginning,
so corny.
so it's like basically at the very beginning it was like really made actually probably for kids because it almost didn't make sense to me when I rewatched like the very first series because it's just like whoa, it's just like going and it's like whoa, they just suddenly started or whatever. I don't know, maybe I wasn't paying attention all the way, but then like as you go on, especially with the games and stuff, it kind of grows with the audience, I think, because they know that, you know, like young adults and stuff are playing it, not like actual 10-year-olds when it first started.
Okay.
But it's also like T for teen, you know, like it's not like there's blood or anything.
So it's like more racy than Pokemon?
Actually,
Or
the
what's the
latest,
word for
one of the
that?
latest games that was kind of a flop, it was like a strategy, like, I don't know, it was like a narrative RPG where like you could talk to people in between, like almost like Dark or something, like characters could die, but not your Digimon. I thought it was like where your Digimon could die too, but it was like based on your decisions, characters could die, and I guess it wasn't that great, and like it was super slow paced and stuff.
Like
But-
story-based, like RPG with
Yeah,
like just
so it's
like
like
a
they try-
morality
they're
gauge
trying
and all
to-
that.
Like hit a little bit more of a mature tone than Pokemon. Pokemon is very like butterflies and
Yo,
rainbows
Pokemon,
and
like
very soft and
adult,
like cute,
adults who are into Pokemon
and
kind of
it's
remind
very
me.
wholesome.
It kind of reminds me of adults who are into Disney. Not to be like
It is, but
like,
you know,
prejudiced
like
about that, but,
I
like-
get it. It's like a happy thing. I get like it feels good to like. I mean, I was interested in Pokemon Arceus stuff.
We're into the adult shit.
No,
We're
they
into
started doing.
Digimon
I was
and
really
Sonic.
interested in the new designs of or the original, like going into more interesting like 3D scenarios with like the free roam design and like then like throwing Pokeballs in the open world and stuff like that. It's just that the Switch is holding it back. Like it can't have detailed worlds. It looks like a basic terrain editor. And then like the Pokemon are detailed enough, sorta, you know, and then
I wonder
I don't know,
when
there's a grind
Nintendo
to
is
it
ever
and-
going to have like a stunning graphics again, though.
that's
Like,
that's what I've been talking about, you know,
It's
like with
so
my friends
bad.
and stuff, is like I want them to be like the GameCube when it was like PS2 and Xbox, where like the GameCube was kind of better than the PS2, maybe not as good as the Xbox because it came out after the PS2, so it had better graphics. So like the games that were on all the systems would probably run better on the GameCube, and it had smoother, like it looked smoother and stuff.
GameCube was pretty.
It was pretty powerful, actually,
yeah.
for the time. And like I want that would be cool if Nintendo went to a position where their new console was like ahead or competing in graphics, so like it was the same if it was on both systems, you know, like PlayStation and Xbox, but also they had some sort of gimmick, like they always do like a creative gimmick where it plays differently than another console would. It has some
Yeah.
other thing that you can't get.
GBA was the
first-party
worst
games.
for that. There's so many horrendous titles on the GBA that are just like deep made shit piles.
Well, like there was some weird stuff where like, oh, it was compatible with like certain wires and you could hook it up to the GameCube and all this stuff, and it's like that would be hard to collect all that.
It seems
Nowadays.
impossible though, with Nintendo and the other competitors right now. Seems like they're really
They're hanging on to the Switch and stuff, and I don't know if there's gonna be a Pro model, and some of their
well, they kind of just did the Pro model. It's like the LED one.
the OLED. I don't know if it has better like
It doesn't. It
graphics
doesn't have a
and
better
processing.
graphics card. No.
Yeah, it's just like more
It's brighter.
resilient. Yeah, brilliant colors and stuff.
Same issue they had with the GBA. It like wasn't bright enough when it came out. They had to.
Yeah, I understand it. I guess it's like mass demand for like all these materials and screens and like memory chips for
That's
like
an
just a
interesting-
game console.
Do you think though that the Switch, like whatever they call it, like the
And
Switch
it's
2,
Nvidia. It's like it's like a partnership with Nvidia to do like all this and like crazy graphics all dedicated into basically a small tablet, and then have like
Yeah.
these side things that are controllers.
they
all
got
this
some
stuff.
sort of weird
So like Nvidia graphics, so it like it has some
manufacturing deal with
nice
the graphics
lighting.
card.
It does have some like nice lighting and stuff, and it looks cool. And
It's, I mean, it's nothing compared to PS5.
yeah, it just
and-
can't handle like a lot on screen. Like
Series
there's certain
S.
stuff it can't handle like big scale, like large scale stuff. That's why it always has to have like some stylized thing, and only the first party games have like all that down, where like they're really taking into account the hardware because it's only for that system.
Yeah, like
So they're
Kirby and
really
Mario,
designing
that.
it around the Switch only,
Yeah,
which is when things can shine the most with the console. I guess it's a representation of the console. I guess.
it would be, that would kind of be a crappy make work job to be the person who has to get the PS5 game or the PS4 game to run on the Switch. You know what I mean? When they like,
Dude, it must be so difficult because it's hard enough
It
to
would
make
suck,
games,
yeah.
and then like
I don't know anything
like,
about that,
That
but-
used to be a really difficult thing, like with Skyrim, especially.
so here's the question though. Do you think they're
PS3.
going to, when they come out with the whatever the next Nintendo console is, do you think it'll just be like crazy
Dude,
ray
I can't-
tracing, like
See,
graphics
with them,
or whatever?
with Nintendo, I can't really predict them as well at all, because they don't just like go in succession or rename stuff really confusingly so that you have to like have a 10-minute discussion on which chronological order each Xbox is, because they don't know how to fucking name shit. 'Cause they're
Xbox
dumbasses.
is really confusing,
They don't
yeah.
know how to market
The
shit.
360,
360,
and then the one.
720, 1080. As stupid as that is, that would have been funnier and memeier and better than like the Xbox One.
People would remember,
called the
yeah.
original Xbox
That's
the
probably a
Xbox One.
symptom of
You're
like
stupid.
the marketing team.
They're just like, yeah, they were
changing,
basically, it was
basically.
probably like corporate executives being like, no, we're gonna overshadow the first. Fuck nostalgia. It's gonna be backwards compatible anyways. This is the Xbox
720
One.
though, really?
This is the Xbox One. This new box is gonna overshadow the original Xbox. You're not gonna have to buy the original
It's going to
Xbox.
be the last video
It's gonna
game
be
console
upscaled.
ever created.
You're never gonna be able to see the original Halo on the original disc in the original game system on the original CRTV. You're only gonna be able to get the Xbox One. This is the one and only box
And
that
then,
you'll ever
wait,
need.
that was like the era
It serves
of
all your
plasma
media
TVs
needs.
too. Remember plasma TVs?
You can use it as an emulator.
So great.
That's the only good thing for it.
So energy efficient.
You can play PlayStation 1 games on the Xbox One. It's an emulator. Just like this friendship.
Oh shit!
Damn, name drop. Just kidding.
Actually, I was
It's not an
talking shit.
emulation.
I was talking shit just now about plasma TVs, but I think some people say that.
Hey,
do
speaking
people
of
say that
plasma
playing-
swords, Halo 3. No,
Do people say that playing PS3 era games is the best way to do it without latent? Is that what they say? Without latency is a plasma screen? I was trying to figure that shit out.
PS3.
Yeah, of the shit that was like out.
Plasma
at the time.
TV. Yeah, maybe.
I had a
stuff
plasma
was
TV for
designed
like, I swear
that.
to God, 6 months.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the refresh rate and all this stuff was like fine tuned for PS3. PS3 was super freaking weird.
Yeah,
and
the
out of
whole
place.
8-chorus thing.
There was like weird stuff. I think in the PS3 era, there was also like 3D TVs they wanted to do, and you had to like have glasses to like see
Oh,
the
yeah,
3D
yeah.
effect. And like Uncharted, like 2 or 3 was designed to have like a 3D
They're still
mode.
trying to figure that out. How to.
But it's like not everybody can have 3D vision unless they have glasses on or like some special
Well,
thing.
they're trying to make it happen
Yeah.
without the glasses.
I know, but it's just like so gimmicky.
Anyway, yeah. Plasma screens are like the water beds of like television technology. Really short-lived, like weird.
Plasma, yeah, because they're
thing.
so delicate or something. Like you couldn't like
Like,
rock
I feel like
them.
they use way too much energy. They're like so crazy to manufacture.
They were like the
What the fuck is
first.
plasma? Why are you
Well,
putting
dude,
plasma in a TV?
It was the first.
Think about it.
No, it was like the only way to make a TV small or something like that, or like a flat screen at the time, and then they figured out a better way.
Yo, screenplay idea. Hear me out. This is crazy, right?
You couldn't like rock it. Like you couldn't have it like on its back or like put it horizontal or whatever. Otherwise, it would like
Is
the
that what
plasma would
happened?
shift or something like that. I don't even know actually, but I know some of those old TVs like
There's got to be some
they're so
reason they're
delicate.
not popular anymore. Okay, you ever see Soylent Green though? You know about Soylent Green?
Oh, I know about Soylent Green, the substance that was supposed to replace food.
Okay, so this movie is called that's the title of the movie, Plasma.
Plasma
Right?
beam.
It's got like the Soylent Green. It's the same logo I've actually used for shit. It's like pretty fucking tight.
Sailor
Soylent Green little package that says,
package.
but it's called
Green.
Plasma, right? And they're using the plasma for the TV screens.
Oh.
But then the Deus Ex Machina.
From them? They're harvesting it from them, or they're using it for
They're using
it?
it for the TVs, but they're harvesting it
From
human bodies.
exactly.
Because
their blood
people
plasma.
need the
Just for
endorphins
TVs,
to
and
watch
then the
screens.
TVs are used for propaganda
How crazy would
on the
that-
general
oh,
population
yeah,
to keep
that
them
tells them
in
that they're not
subservience
doing,
to the
yeah.
overlords.
Tell them that they're not using blood to make the
It's
TVs.
all a conspiracy, bro. It's in the fucking vampires, and it's
That's
fucking,
gold right there,
also,
dude. That's gold.
they are bedbug hybrid humans. Bedbug hybrid, because that's the closest thing to an actual vampire. I don't want to talk about bedbugs; they're so gross.
That's,
they suck blood.
That's some Franz Kafka shit, right?
They also use like
You were the one that brought it up.
anesthesia, and they make sure that you can't feel their bites and all this shit. So they're so sneaky, and they know like what time you sleep, and they know like where to hide. They hide from the like all the light.
Dude, I
they
wish-
literally hide from light so you don't see them, and they hide in the seams so you don't see them. They're smart enough to know furniture. They're like bred
Oh
and
my
evolved
God,
with
dude.
humans in mind.
Dude,
they
we need
are
to do a
our
horror
nightmare.
movie
They're the
about
closest thing to
bedbugs.
our vampires. Like vampire bat will sometimes fly in your window and maybe like bite you and pee on you a little bit, because that's how they like to roll. At the same time, they pee while they bite you, and they can give you
Maybe that's
diseases and
just
all
like
that
an
shit.
involuntary.
And like mosquitoes, yeah, they can go for humans, but they also go for animals. But bed bugs are like designed for humans now. That's gross.
That's like so creepy.
But ugh. Yeah, but anyways, like if that would be creepy if
No.
the society was like bedbug hybrid humans. They're sucking people's
Yeah,
blood,
but think about it.
harvesting
In the
them their
back
plasma,
rooms, you know how the back rooms is like a hotel
converting
lobby,
it. Ugh.
like the
I
like
guess
the back
so.
like the
I know.
classic.
I thought
like,
What I thought was it was like the back rooms of Bed Bath and Beyond, or like an IKEA,
that'd be like a storeroom though.
or like
That
a
would have,
really
like-
big warehouse, or like like a.
I always thought it was
Costco.
like a weird hotel.
Like,
Like
you go
hallway.
way back in the meat section, and then you're like, "Is this a bathroom?" And then you go through, and it's like, "No, there's like a back room." And what? And then you're in the hallway, and then you try to go back through the door, and you can't. And you're like, "Okay,
But
there's
it
only one way."
feels like a
and then it says
hotel lobby.
exit, and then you go through the exit, and you're like going down an escalator, and the next thing you know, the escalator
just
goes
saying,
forever, and you're just lost. And
if
there's a
it's-
paperclip monster, but you can't let him know where you are. You can't make a noise. If you even breathe too loud, he's gonna fucking find you. God damn it.
Oh, the paperclip
Shit.
monster. I was about to say, yo, I only know
So
about
scary,
Cane Pix,
dude.
but I realized,
Oh
yeah.
my god, there's so
Cane
much of
Pixel's
it.
paperclip monster.
I don't even know. There's so many creepypasta cryptids.
Well, the one in the Cane Pixels one is like, it looks kind of like a black,
see them
like
together.
a weird black spider,
I remember that
siren head paperclip.
Was that in a backrooms one?
That's the back
Oh
the
yeah,
back rooms.
yeah. It was like if you talk or breathe or like make any noise, it'll know.
It recognizes like vibrations.
Yeah, so it's like,
Dude,
and it's like
actually-
super lopsided. It's like you can't really do anything to avoid it.
I just had a weird revelation. It's one of those It's one of those.
It's like you're stuck,
Well, it's actually like a TV show. It's going to be on HBO now.
middle
Yeah.
of nowhere.
It's one of those stories that is really hard to interpret, but it
Have
has
you heard
like
of like
these Easter eggs.
non-Euclidean geometry? That's basically what the
think about
black
it.
rooms
Did you
is.
watch the whole thing? Have you seen it? Just watch it. I can't
No,
spoil it.
I haven't. I've seen little clips of like
It's
the
so
creepy
good,
pasta,
man.
like just going around. Like I don't know the official stuff or anything.
That's the fodder of this show too. That's exactly the sort of shit that I want to talk about. Kane Pixel's
That's what makes it good.
Watch Kane Pixel's Backrooms.
Okay,
It's
plug.
so good.
I haven't watched it, but watch it.
Well, watch the
any
YouTube one, the
Backrooms
HBO.
content.
It's going to be on HBO. I don't know what they're doing.
I
with
always make references to the back rooms, even
we've-
if I haven't watched the movie.
There's an
'Cause it's
IRL
scary.
Backrooms that I actually.
You want to be scared? Back rooms
Yeah.
are scary.
Sometimes when you work in,
Retail.
yeah, we work in the retail. kitchen
Retail
service
business.
industry.
Howdy, partner. Welcome to Mega
But
Time.
no, this is my
Would
this is
you
my idea.
like some water?
Welcome to Costco. I love you. This is my idea though. So you know how it's like hotel shit? What if it was the back rooms, but it was like a hotel that was infested with sentient bed bugs?
That is fucking so realistically disgusting.
Like, okay, and the whole thing is you get trapped.
That sounds
You
like
get
a
trapped there.
90s
You
movie, but
trying
like
to find your
smarter.
way out for hours and hours. You lose
Oh
track
my
of time.
fucking
Eventually,
God,
you're gonna
that's
have to fall asleep.
horrific, in my view, from my experience.
Did I
that
just
is
freak you the fuck out?
horrific. That's like almost based on my trauma. That would be like the scariest movie ever.
Maybe there's beds though, and those are like
Like you're
they're
trapped
like luring you.
in it, and it's spreading, and it's horrible, and like you can't do anything, and you keep having to sleep, and it's like every time you sleep, you know, like they're gonna get you, and you won't feel it.
And then yeah,
And some
basically,
people
villain-
have an allergic reaction where they get red bumps, and they can see like the trails, like certain ones like in a row close together, like you'll see red dots or something. But most people don't have an allergic reaction, so you won't even see the bites maybe, or you might mistake it for like common acne, like body acne and stuff, so you might not realize.
Well, I mean, there's
they're
nothing you
just
can do. You're in
harvesting
the
you.
back rooms.
You're just
There's
getting
nothing you
milked
can do
for
either
your
way.
blood.
Ghost what?
They're getting milked for your blood, and if you have ghosts in your blood,
I
then
was
guess
about to
what?
say.
Those things are motherfucking haunted. Then you're in a fucking haunted hotel. You're in a fucking hotel filled with sentient
That's pretty
fucking
good,
bed
man.
bugs.
That's a horrific thought, though, right?
And you, at the same time, you're getting infected with sentient bed bugs. They're getting infected with your ghost blood. And then they're evolving into ghosts, sentient bed
Yeah,
bugs.
no, they like suck
in
out
a
like your
haunted
memories
hotel.
and shit. Hell
And then
yeah.
the next thing you know, it's
That's
some
scary as fuck.
haunted Luigi's Mansion shit.
The villain of the story becomes time and your desire to sleep. Ooh,
You're
that's so
hallucinating
horrific.
because you don't sleep,
like The
because
Cell.
you're looking everywhere to see if they're crawling up to you or something, and like you know, like it's nighttime, so that's their active time, but you don't want to sleep, and so you just don't sleep all night, and then you're hallucinating, and it's like, am I awake? Am I asleep? Am I seeing them crawl up to me?
You
Am
never
I
see
not?
the sun. You don't know when's night, when's day.
You have to like figure out how to
Dude,
never
we
sleep.
just
You don't
created
want to
a really
sleep because
good,
you don't
like-
want to get bit.
Yeah, Backrooms fanfic.
Like multiple people though, not just one person.
Did you ever see A Scanner Darkly,
A
the
team.
movie?
I have to figure this out. And there's certain ways to stave off the bedbugs, possibly like certain heated up situations or cooled down situations,
Oh,
radical
yeah.
degrees
Touche.
can eliminate them, but it has to be at very critical ends of the spectrum. So I'll leave you with that one.
So like,
They're very hard to kill though, and especially ghost enhanced sentient ones, because they're already pretty smart as
you're
is.
talking about like you have to build like a fire pit or like a cryo tube.
Like I'm talking like above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, or like dry ice freezing.
Okay.
Like
Ooh,
below
that would be
0.
interesting. Create sorts
Like,
of like traps
crazy.
and barriers with them.
Yeah, like safe havens,
I
all
mean,
kinds of shit. Who knows?
You'd have to figure out how would you get access
Napalm.
to the technology.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a crazy hotel, so who knows?
But yeah, have you seen
The
Scanner
Hell House.
Darkly?
Made by a mad scientist. What?
Scanner Darkly.
No.
Oh shit.
Don't ruin
I
Barb's
bumped my
setup.
mic one time in an hour. Damn it. Scanner Darkly. It's a Philip K. Dick story. It's got weird animation and stars Keanu Reeves. It's a Philip K. Dick book. It's really weird because it's like it's one of those stories that takes place.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, yeah.
In the movie?
Yeah, but he's like animated over. It's got like weird, that like cell shaded thing where you like
a filter. Yeah, okay.
It's like a
animated, I think I've seen a little bit of like that little.
It's the same director of photography who made that.
Very
I
interesting.
believe the same guy who did Waking Life.
So a lot of rain in that movie.
So I want to watch it again, or maybe even read the book. It's set in the near future, and it's about a guy who's he's basically in like a halfway home, and he's like hallucinating that there's bugs crawling all over him.
I can fucking relate.
And
that.
But he's talking about some conspiracy.
If you've ever had like lice or anything like that, you will like get ghost itches. You will,
I have some like rashes and shit. I've never had like MRSA or anything though.
There's different stuff that it could be, but it's like crazy. It can be traumatizing.
I definitely have rashes.
So I feel for people that have gotten certain stuff.
Have you had bed bugs?
It doesn't mean, and it doesn't mean, that's why it's traumatizing. But it's like, it doesn't mean that you're dirty or anything. It can just happen. Like, you never know where it comes from, like the origin, because it usually spreads from people to people.
I mean,
you don't have a dirty house, but like somebody next door got through the walls or something like that. It can happen. We're spreading through a complex.
One of my toes got fucked up.
Actually, to where there's laws where you have to just like, if you're living in apartments and stuff, it's the apartment's job to just get rid of it. Like they can't blame you or anything. So you can let them know. Most people are embarrassed to like admit it. And then it gets worse. So it's like, but there's laws where, at least in my state.
No, I totally know. There's like sections of my house. There's like sections of like windowsills I've had that have like gotten black mold. It's pretty.
I was super paranoid. Like, where did it come from? Who talked to who? Is like COVID before COVID? Compared to, where did this come from? How do we get this? Such an affliction. Such a bad time.
Yeah.
You're worried about all your stuff that's fabric.
He got scabies or MRSA one time.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like traumatize you.
No, it's fine. Let's talk about some scary shit. No, just kidding. Let's talk about some scary shit.
You have to wait until next time to talk about my little game that I don't call Digimon. Let me ask you another Digimon question though.
Okay.
We can
Digimon.
wrap it up in a few minutes.
Digital monsters. Digimon,
which one should I play?
Champions.
If I was going to play one of the first three Digimon worlds, is 3 the best? Is that the one with the good music?
World, Digimon,
I'm asking you, what do you think?
Monsters, Digimon are the champions.
Gun to your head, you have to play one.
If you wanted to just jump into one, you have to give it time. They're kind of slow.
Like, which one is the most fun and like complex?
As like an RPG?
That's what I like.
I love the amount of content and complexity, and it has a good comparison to Pokemon in a good way, and I think it's being playful with its like similarities. Digimon World 3. It also contains the entire card game, but you get it later in the game. Like there's a shop that opens, you get a deck, and like there's a whole like in-game like ARG card game that's the actual Digimon rules. The card game, and you can get better at that.
Pokemon card game inside of a Pokemon game.
Yeah, and it's even like, so I don't know, they just did a lot with like one PS1 disc, and they put a lot of content on there that like nowadays games wouldn't go to that length to put in. So it's like, it's a really quality game.
All right.
And it's underrated. It's underrated.
Play it.
But it contains a lot of grinding. It contains a lot of actually like, as I've replayed the beginning a bunch of times, but at the beginning you have to like go back and forth quite a bit, but it's kind of designed to where like that's your grinding process, is like going back and forth to like talk to these people and stuff, and you kind of have to figure it out. It's a little bit of a puzzle game. It's sort of like the games you're playing, except like it has Final Fantasy cutaways where you're getting battle encounters and stuff a lot, but you're looking for like certain people to talk to, and like you're kind of having to figure it out without it holding your hand.
Okay.
Based on like, you have to kind of pay attention to what people are saying.
Okay.
Like, oh,
I do like a game that doesn't hold your hand too much.
Yeah, it's almost to where like, oh, you can get lost and maybe I have to look it up. Like, what do I have to do if you're not paying attention?
Well, a lot of those old JRPGs is like kind of impossible to play
Even
without a strategy
the Pokemon
guide.
games, like I remember I had Fire Red was like the first one that I like bought and owned for like my own personal use, and that one would like recap what you did last, because it was like a single player game. But I remember like you'd open it and it would kind of like show a black and white screen where it'd show like where you walked and kind of what you were doing last, like the last
Weird.
3 things. And it was like, okay, that recaps like what I was doing.
Was that a DS game?
It was like Game Boy Advance. And I
Okay.
could play it on my DS.
So one of those games is like really valuable now.
I think so. It was Fire Red for Game Boy Advance.
Maybe it's like $80 or something.
Yeah, so whatever. But I don't have a DS or anything anymore anyway, so.
I'll play Digimon World
Those are fun.
3.
Digimon World 3 is awesome. The 2 is like a dungeon crawler, like RPG, but you have like fuel and like your tank is a whole thing and you get like parts for that. And you have to upgrade your tank and get better fuel storage.
Dude, the tank might be fun, actually.
It's very interesting gameplay. Like kind of original. And it's like 3v3 battles and stuff. Like it has Final Fantasy turn-based battles as well as 3.
Like where you're using the Digimon all the time, right?
Using
Wait,
the
do
Digimon
they not
during
all
the
have
battles.
turn-based battles?
Well, the first game is almost like real time. Like you'll get into battle mode, and I think it's always 1v1 or something like that. But you're just like walking around the real world, and then certain things will
1v1 as
fight
opposed
you.
to like groups.
Yes, shit will be walking around. Like wild Digimon will be walking around in the world instead of like an encounter where they were invisible, and then it goes to a battle screen. They're like actually in the world, and then they'll battle you one-on-one.
Okay, that's like Final Fantasy
But
Mystic
you're not
Quest.
like catching them. Like most of the games, you have like a team given to you or something like that, or there's some other way to acquire different forms, or like you can digivolve to those other Digimon from the base ones that you get and stuff. So it might require even like extra playthroughs or new game pluses to like get stuff. So there's like a lot of value to the games if you want to grind it. And a lot of the time the grind's super slow though. Unless you really know what you're doing, probably. Speedrun it.
Yeah, you gotta
You have
just
to have a lot of time.
accept the grind as reality.
Yeah, but actually, just as games and stuff, they're a little bit underrated and stuff. And like,
Did you ever
bashed
play?
on because they always compare it to like trying to copy Pokemon, but it's like, no, it's good in its own right.
Did you ever play Jade Cocoon or like Monster Rancher?
I played like the Monster Rancher 2 card game or something like that. There's like a card game.
Not the bounce, the hop about or whatever it's called, right? It's like a weird rhythm bouncing game.
No, it wasn't like a bouncing rhythm game or anything.
Was it a
was
video
like a
game?
card.
That was a card game.
Yeah, it was a video game, and it was like
I didn't know that existed.
a card game thing where
On
you
a
like
console?
make decks and stuff. Yeah, it was like for PS2, I
That
believe.
sounds so good.
And it was
It's a really fun game.
interesting.
What
I
are
always
they called?
played
The
those strategy games.
Swazax.
I have no idea.
That was my. It's like the guy with the one-eyed guy. He looks like
The
what's his name
Yu-Gi-Oh
from
games,
Monsters Inc.
Yu-Gi-Oh games on PS1 and stuff, PS2.
Oh, dude, Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know.
They had crazy ones that were like utilizing the cards, but in more interesting ways. They had like Capsule Monster Coliseum for PS2, where it was kind of like a chess game. Like you're in an environment and it's like squares, like a
Okay.
chessboard, but it's not. There's like obstacles and like it's like an actual environment, and you would have capsules or whatever. You'd have like a deck sort of, but it was like your monsters. You could level up, fight different people.
Hell yeah.
And then Duels to the Roses was also like movement based, where like it was like a strategy game, and you could put cards face down and face up and all this stuff, but you could move them on a board like a chessboard. Still, it was kind of crazy. Like they would experiment with different gameplay styles.
All right.
Very interesting
it's
retro
tough.
games.
It's just like it takes a long time to learn like a new card game or whatever.
Kind of, yeah.
I'm almost
I had
more
a lot of
interested in
those
like
card
inventing
games.
my own.
There's so many. It's just like I played so many like card games and stuff that don't exist. Like nobody actually plays those anymore. Stuff like Duel Masters. Probably never heard of. There was a show in anime and all that stuff as well.
Really?
And like
Sounds
we
kinda
played that
familiar.
game.
Did you play Magic the Gathering?
No, I never like played like the actual big ones besides Yu-Gi-Oh.
I learned.
And I never learned how to play Pokemon.
I kind of learned like
I
the
never really
basics of
collected it.
Magic the Gathering like 2 different occasions in my life, and then like spent 1 or 2 nights like hanging out with that person that taught me into playing.
Magic seems like it would be interesting, but
It's pretty
like,
good.
I love Yu-Gi-Oh since I grew up with
I'd
that.
rather play like Twilight Imperium.
I kind of like
Shit that I
I've
showed you.
played Hearthstone, which is like pretty much digital only. I don't know if there's actually a physical card game for that.
What is it?
Hearthstone, and I think that's
Oh.
sort of like Magic because of like the slash attack slash health or whatever aspect of it. Yu-Gi-Oh is like attack and defense and stuff and life points, but like Magic and Hearthstone and stuff has like a number slash a number, and that's like their stats
Yeah, yeah.
or whatever it's called. So I
And
don't know exactly, but
well,
then
yeah.
there's, like,
sometimes I feel
costs.
like Magic the Gathering is
There's
kind of
costs.
just a slightly more complex version of Pokemon, though.
yeah,
But I don't know.
all those games are awesome because you think about it like chess.
It's just a lot of money, you know. The Magic the Gathering
Yeah.
online, I guess, is the way to go.
Because there's
but-
so many cards and so much options. So many options. It's so dynamic.
I'll turn you on to Twilight Imperium. I'll try and get a group together or something. I'd almost rather just like get D&D going or something. Do you have any other final thoughts on the Digimon situation?
No, I pretty much wrapped it up. It's just like I'm
Did
sour.
did you watch the show or the
Yeah, I used to watch
movies?
the show
Shit.
too.
Sounds good.
It was pretty nostalgic, but like you just catch it like here and there and not like always in succession. Like if you binge watched it, it might seem disjointed because I think it was designed around like TV and stuff. But all those shows were interesting too. I think they usually had like a new cast of characters, and like I think the characters kind of got designed to be a little bit older as time went on too, because they knew that the audience was growing as well.
Yeah, dude, we don't fuck around with Disney and Pokemon. We watch
Well, it's like-
Shadow the Hedgehog and Digimon,
Yeah, like
Jack and Daxter.
Sega, like
The
yeah,
real-
we're gonna be adult. We're gonna be teen. T for
That's funny.
teen. We're gonna be
Adult
mature.
Swim.
I want to be edgy. I'm an emo.
That's
Emo
pretty good, man.
2000s. All right.
We'll do the Digimon episode. This was pretty good,
Hey,
man.
hey, hey.
I think it worked out.
I don't
well,
play
like,
old. I don't play Xbox. I
Hey,
play
I don't
old
play-
school Nintendo. I play.
none of
I must
that
be
kiddie shit. I
emo.
played Dungeons. Wait, I played Double Dragon for the NES.
Play
Low
Double
key,
Dragon.
such a good game though. Can we go play some beat 'em ups?
Double Dragon these nuts.
I'm editing that shit out. Can we get out of here?
Double Dragon these nuts.
Are we ready to hit the stoppo?
Yeah.
Hit the stop button.
See you guys. Forever. No, I'm just
Pretty
kidding.
decent, right?
That was not bad.
We'll get into Calvin Ball
I
next
also
time.
like the aesthetic of.
Oh, you have more to say?
I also like the aesthetic. I must say, let me paint a picture of hanging stuff. Hanging something from a lamp, hanging a
Oh, yeah,
microphone
we
from
got
a
a
lamp,
pretty-
but also our condenser being Bart Simpson's socks
Yeah.
that actually worked and actually helped a lot.
Yeah, we use pop filter.
That's such a
socks for
weird-
pop filters, and we got a really
It's such a
janky setup right
weird
now.
fix, but it totally worked and it's
I
awesome.
forgot about that.
It actually looks
I was
awesome
talking about
in real life
making
too.
pop filter
It's
out
funny.
of a hanger. All right,
Okay.
peace.
Peace.